Here at Vox Cascadia, we have to take a moment to recognize the sacrifice of some 70-plus brave guardsmen that gave their lives this weekend at the Cascade Clash tournament in order to buy Connor a prestigious award. Moment of silence for those 70-plus guardsmen. And that should be good. That's a solid moment there. And we're in audio form, so people can't see us bowing our heads. What's up, Chuck? How you doing, buddy?
I didn't bow my heads at all.
Wow. Terrible person.
Yeah. I'm not the one who threw more than 70. What's did you run?
I ran 13 every time and no one ever maxed me out, but I was trying to do the rough math in my head. They killed at least 10 every single match. So I'm saying 70 plus, maybe 80 plus.
So if everybody died, if you got bored, you never got board wiped?
I never got board wiped. I often had like one or two guys at the end of each match.
That's pretty good, I guess.
Silver lining.
Well, welcome everybody. So you heard Connor, and I'm Chuck, and Tyler. Say hello.
Unfortunately, Tyler couldn't make it because I couldn't make it yesterday because I was feeling pretty ill. And then Tyler got ill. So my bad, Tyler. Now Chuck's stuck with me instead of being stuck with Tyler, and it's his worst nightmare.
Oh my God. It's just like, I don't babysit for a reason, and now I have to. So Sierra, I'm going to send you an invoice. So Tyler, hope you feel better. I know you don't listen to the podcast actually. Hope you feel better, buddy. Anyways, welcome to Vox Cascadia. As Connor said, we played a tournament this last weekend, and Connor and I played, and Tyler, another illness. Tyler couldn't make it. We played in the Cascade Clash up in Mount Vernon, Washington, not too far from the Canadian border. Sorry, Canada, we suck these days.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it was a 34-player tournament with a golden ticket and 7 rounds put on by Sean, and Brandon Bean was the head judge, and it was a super fun tournament. So we're going to kind of recap that tonight. And we've also got some new updates to go over too, just little baby bits, because we don't really pay attention to the rules because we're not any good.
No, we are not.
I mean, I did okay. I went spoiler alert, I went 5-2. Connor, what was your score?
I finished literal dead last at 34 of 34 at 0-7. Vet Guard that weekend went 1-13, and the only reason they had a single win was because me and my good pal Paige mirror matched into one another.
Yeah, I got to play Paige round 1 to start off the cascade of losses for the Deathcore of Krieg. They're not Veteran Guard.
Whatever.
Yeah. So it was great that her and I finally got a game in. We had a challenge in the last edition, and neither of us fulfilled that challenge. So Paige, if you're listening, I think we should go back and actually do the demons match that we talked about.
Please do. I would love to spectate that. We could make it a Patreon thing.
Yeah, speaking of Patreon things, I've got some ideas for some Patreon things, especially Greg gave me a good idea. We'll get to those later. So okay. Let's talk about the event a little bit though. So the Cascade Clash 34-player tournament was, like I said, Mount Vernon. It was last weekend, the 8th and 9th of
Something
March.
Like that.
Yeah. So for me, it was a 5-hour drive. So, and normally tournaments are pretty local to me. So this was quite a trek. I picked up Nick on the way up there, and Nick beat you with his 1-6 record. So
let's go, Nick. Proud of you, buddy.
Yeah. His amazingly painted Rekkas. They wrecked in round 1, and then they kind of got wrecked the rest of the time. But he had a good time, and it was
play the sound effects. Use the soundboard. We got to make up for Tyler not being here.
Do I have the sad sound? There we go. Hold on.
The soundboard is now our co-host for the night.
Yeah, I've also got, if we want to do I got Law and Order too. So. But I need to go back and find the best of Connor. So
that's every moment of Connor. What are you talking about? It's just peak after peak. It's like a mountain range.
Peak after peak is just your audio levels, and sometimes when you're actually talking to the mic tonight, which I really appreciate. So,
you're welcome.
Thank you. That's the example of the previous 58 episodes as being episode 59 of Connor.
I've been good for like the past 6.
You've been pretty solid. You still kind of fade in and out.
It's because, like, in order to get real close to the mic, I gotta lean up. I should probably just move it to a different location on my desk. But it's just crazy to me how much, like, half a foot makes a difference in quality.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be like a full 6 inches away to begin with, much
Well, I'm
less.
like a full 1 inch away right now, and then I back up to like the distance is my pinky to my thumb is like my pinky's touching the mic, and this is my thumb touching my mouth, and it just drops so much. It's crazy.
Americans will use any unit of measurement other than the metric system.
So imagine a burger, if you will. It's about a burger and a half's worth of distance.
So we're talking about like a Burgerville burger? Or are we talking like a Carl's Jr. burger
I'm
or
gonna go with the
Burger
McDonald's
King?
because I mistakenly had one for dinner today. Terrible decision. I'm a big fan of fast food. Anyone that knows me knows I have a love affair with Taco Bell. Taco Bell, people rudely pretend it fucks you up. No, it does not. You're just weak. Actually, I've never actually been fucked up by Taco Bell, but I get fucked up by McDonald's all the time, and I had it for the first time in like a year and a half. Terrible idea. I feel awful.
I feel like the Taco Bell myth is maybe that's the thing of days gone by, but Taco Bell, I'm a Taco Bell breakfast like
Yeah.
stan.
Oh, dude, their Crunchwrap breakfast thing. Oh, that's so fine. Almost as fun
Crunchwrap.
as you.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
It's the Crunchwrap breakfast. Yeah, it's my birthday is actually like a week from today of this recording, and
Oh
I'm
shit,
actually
for real?
yeah.
You're turning 46?
Yes, I
I didn't
am.
realize we were both March birthdays.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think
Okay.
yours is like a week after mine or 8 days
Just
after
about.
mine.
I'm the 27th.
Yeah, so we both have the March birthday action going on, and I'm taking the day off for my birthday, and what I'm excited to do is take my dog and play with my dog and get Taco Bell breakfast. So that's my excitement.
That is a great way to spend your birthday.
Probably play a bunch of Xbox too. I got Monster Hunter Wilds
Oh,
the other day.
nice.
I have no idea what the hell I'm doing in that game. That game is like a foreign language to me. If that game was in French, it would make as much sense as it does right now because there's so many things. Have you played any of the Monster Hunter games?
I have not, but all my friends are really into that game right now. But I haven't gotten around to it. I'm not much of a grindy type of game guy. Like the closest I got was like Destiny, but I'm not much of a person who loves like games where you just play to get bigger numbers so then you can go do bigger number challenge.
Yeah, I'm just dipping my toes into it. It was kind of an impulse buy because the Smithy's hot.
Mhm.
Gemma the Smithy is hot.
Did you
So
get it because her name kind of sounds like your girlfriend's?
I did actually.
Nice.
So
And yeah, I've seen a bunch of fan art and like screenshots of the character, and I'm like, I get it. Nice.
yeah, but her hair is short on the side, so that's how you know it's woke.
Ah, fuck. I can't
Yeah,
believe you bought a woke game, Chuck.
I know. That's my dollars are going towards DEI and the woke mob.
Let's go. Shout out to my woke mobsters.
So we were talking about Taco Bell.
Uh-huh.
My diet this past weekend. This is not kill team related at all. I got Taco Bell on the way up north. I had hotel breakfast on Saturday.
Oh,
I
was it
had
like good hotel, like continental breakfast with like the waffle maker and everything?
it did
Nice.
I didn't do the waffle maker, but it
Oh.
was good hotel breakfast. I then did Taco Time, Washington Taco Time, delicious. Fuck you, Sean.
Why are
It
you
was
saying fuck
so
you,
good.
Sean?
Oh, is Sean? No, wait, hold on. No, fuck you, Tyler. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
get so
I was
confused.
gonna be like, Tyler's not here to defend this. Washington, Pacific Northwest, whatever it is, it's like localized around the Puget Sound. Way fucking better than the Oregon Taco Bell. I'm sorry I just peeked out, but I'm very passionate about this. There is a clear difference in both costs. Unfortunately, Washington Taco Time's far more expensive, but it is far better than Oregon Taco Time.
Yeah, then had for dinner that night we had a Burger King. We had
Ugh.
continental breakfast again on Sunday, and then I didn't even eat anything on the way home. I had leftover Taco Bell from Friday on the way home.
That seems like a bad idea.
It was if you're looking for my fitness goals and my fitness lifestyle, I'm gonna start a blog, I think, that's just like the shit I ate on tournament weekends.
You know what? That's not a bad blog. I'd listen to that or like read that.
Speaking of Taco Bell love, I heard that Sean actually bought a bunch of pizza and you shamed the house that was rented because you then stopped and got Taco Bell on the way to the house.
Listen, I like had heard there would be pizza, but I wasn't like sure if it had been confirmed. And we pulled into Safeway to get some food to like, this ingredients and whatnot. And it was right across from the Taco Bell. And I was like, well, I'm not going to say no to a Baja Blast Zero right now. So I got myself a little Baja Blast and a grilled cheese burrito.
Have you seen somebody posted a Baja Blast like pie or something? Is this
Yes.
a real thing?
I don't know, but I want to find out and get it if so. I think it was our good buddy Zach, now holder of a golden ticket.
Spoiler alert.
I don't know how the clapping sounds on the mic. Sorry if it's terrible.
Yeah, that
But
sounds like something different.
yeah, it does. But yeah, you know what? We'll just spoil it now because I'm super excited for him. Good job, Zach. Zach won his golden ticket. He got it at 6-1. It was a very intense match. And then shout out to other friend Sean, local to Kitsap Sean, because he also went 6-1 despite having only played like 3 games of Kill Team of this edition beforehand. And him winning the final round is what guaranteed Zach the golden ticket. So I think he said he needs to buy him a couple of beers.
Yeah, he Zach had the path and then kind of fumbled it in round 6.
Not
but
even fumbled. It was just like it was a great match, and he made a slight positioning error.
yeah,
And you
fumbled
could,
it.
yeah, I mean, fumbles like you really, really fuck up, you know?
I mean, I mean, so as Nick, our good buddy Sherd, 1-7 Nick, 1-6 Nick, told me that he saw Zach after the match, and Zach was basically just after round 6, where Zach essentially he forgot what control range was, is what I heard, and was outside of an objective that would have won the game for him. And basically Zach was like, went over to a wall and like just stared up at the wall, like I think kind of like in shock of what he had done.
Like shout out to good old buddy Nick, an Arrested Development scene. Hello, darkness, my old friend, playing while Job stares off into the distance.
I feel like that was Zach's mentality. We are actually going to have Zach on next week, so Zach can relive this with us. And
you got to get that added in as the soundboard so we can play it.
Yeah, so we did the Hello Darkness, my old friend.
Yeah,
perfect. I can do that. We'll get another reason to get copyright striked. So
we'll never get copyright strikes. We're too friendly and positive.
I don't know. I don't think friendliness and positivity. Also, are we friendly and positive? You're friendly and positive.
I like to think we are.
I'm kind of a dick, is what.
That's mostly on you, but I balance it out with my golden retriever energy. Apparently,
there you go. Pretty much. So, but we'll have Zach on next week to talk about his journey and the golden ticket and what he's going to do now, since he won the golden ticket with novitiates, and
they
might not be at Worlds. Yeah. So, what's his backup plan? So, Zach, if you're listening,
Hunter Clade. Bring him anyways. They'll be banned too. Bring him anyways.
I mean, bringing banned Hunter Clade and not winning any games is just about as good as bringing Hunter Clade right now, right?
Yeah. So I think that can transition us into why I brought Vetguard in the first place.
Tell the fans why you brought Vetguard, buddy.
Because Hunter Clades suck. Like, not only are they bad, they're just not fun, which is a real bummer, because you guys know me. I love my AdMech. I do anything for my little Skitarii friends. They're my best buddies. When I die, I want all my Skitarii to be buried with me, like the Pharaoh, or the guy that had all those people turned into clay. The Jade Emperor? I think that was just the movie about it. Now I feel like I'm fucking a lot of history up.
I think that was it was a Chinese emperor, I think.
Yeah, but I think it's like called the Jade Emperor. Is like the really shitty third The Mummy movie where they go to China and then they fight an army of like zombies versus the terracotta warriors. It's really bad. And my only recollection of that movie is being home from school sick and on a lot of like Tylenol. So I'm pretty sure I was tripping balls while watching the movie.
All right, so Google AI says the Terracotta Army, a collection of thousands of life-size terracotta sculptures of soldiers and horses commissioned by, pardon my translation, Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, to protect him in the afterlife.
That's base as fuck. I've also heard there's some speculation that entire thing is made up and fake. Like, not that the terracotta warriors are fake, but like it was developed during, like it was entirely made fictional in the 60s. I don't know if that's just some like American propaganda or some shit, but I saw something about that the other day. I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of cool. Because I've always thought about doing something myself. Like, what would it cost to make a fake ancient history thing like that, you know?
I mean, not believing in real shit is the most American way right now.
Very true.
We have multiple states that have basically tried to outlaw chemtrails. So,
well, like, yeah, they're turning the frogs gay.
Laws. Yeah, they're putting and the fluoride in the water. So, God,
we're so fucked.
Speaking of that, I went to the dentist today and I got my teeth cleaned. Yeah, dentist is woke.
Yeah, taking care of yourself is woke. Anyways, you got your teeth cleaned.
I got my teeth cleaned, and then at the end, like teeth cleaned, like perfect, like the cleanest my teeth will be. And she's like, my hygienist, Jen, she's like,
You just know all the gins today.
I do. Uh, she's like, "Do you want fluoride? It's $20 out of pocket." And I'm like, "Fluoride's good for you." But then she puts this stuff on my teeth that makes them feel instantly dirty and ruins, and it just stays on my teeth the entire day until tonight when I brush my teeth. It takes the whole perfectly clean feeling of my mouth and just ruins it. And but I feel like I need to do it because fluoride's good for you. Except, I'd like to be a gay frog. That'd be sweet.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your teeth. That's definitely a bummer. But I do think having frog powers would be kind of neat. I'd like to be able to jump that like proportional high.
So let's use our frog powers and jump into our games. So
There we go. Oh, yeah,
hey,
actually, really quick. So, yeah, Hunter Clades suck. And I was like, well, Vet Guard, they are kind of bad from what I've heard, but they got buffed. And I did a couple, like 2 or 3 games. I'm like, well, they're pretty fun. So, this was kind of a test to see if they have the juice. And the answer is no. No, they do not.
they did not have the juice. So, did you have fun though?
I did have fun. It was a great time. They're really fun at like just swarming the board and charging forward and like having a surprisingly decent amount of shooting, but then they die immediately afterwards, which is always a bummer. Because like I killed a bunch of my opponent's teams, but like you just run out of steam so quickly.
Yeah, you're just kind of throwing people into people and it's not doing anything. I was hoping that with the buff they got from the data slate recently that they would actually be a little bit more viable, but based on your output and Paige's output, I don't think they are.
No.
So let's just go through our games real quick. Round 1. Who was your opponent round 1?
Fuck. Oh, it was Sean. That's right. It was our good friend Sean, I think.
Wrecker Crew Sean?
Wrecker Crew Sean. Yeah, I believe I know I played him. I'm thinking it's the first round. I'm pulling up BCP. Here's Connor typing.
It was Sean.
Okay, thank God, because Buzz Coast Parents wasn't loading for me. But yeah, I fought Sean, which was hilarious because he was staying at the Clash House with us, but it was good to see him because Sean unfortunately just can't make a lot of our normal Friday night gaming. But he's a great dude, and I always enjoy hanging out with him. So it was a fantastic game. We had a good time on Volcus, and Rekkas are a pretty powerful team. And Guardsmen are a fun team, but unfortunately, Sean in his first 2 attacks rolled like 3 6s both time, and that just kind of snowballed from there because then, Rekkas do 4 damage, pretty much base normal dice. So he was just able to guarantee 4 or 5 hits every single time, and no matter how well you roll, you're still taking 8 damage, which is enough to kill the Guardsman.
Yeah, I also had it was my Rekka Crew versus Paige's Veteran Guardsman, and the results were pretty much the same. I was Sean was busting up a cold one, buddy. Let's go. Sean
I got a tall boy right now.
There you go. Tall Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper.
No, it is a tall boy. It is a tall boy of Arizona iced tea, Arnold Palmer, diet half and half.
Whoa, buddy. It's like 7:54 at night. You're never getting to sleep.
There's no caffeine in these.
It's got tea.
It's like fake tea, though. It's not real tea. It's not enough caffeine to keep me awake.
Well, that's true. You're also young and you stay up till like 2:00 for the hell of it anyways.
Yeah, I'm done.
So I beat Paige and Sean beat you. So the total Rekka supremacy started there in round 1. Round 2, I ran into Christian from, I think he said Bothell?
Yeah. Younger guy, like still in high school or something like that.
Yeah, younger than me for sure. And he brought Felgor Ravagers. By the way, I played 6 of my 7 games on Into the Dark, and 3 of those 6 games were on the same board too. Just like
Get
the BCP algorithm was like,
because they changed the board numbers throughout the days, right?
They did, and I still got paired back into the board that I started on my final game. So round 2, I played against Felgor versus Rekkas on Into the Dark. I lost pretty soundly. I lost 20-8 versus Christian. Christian, really good player, and I just couldn't do anything. Like I think I got a little too aggressive, and he got in my back line pretty quick because my back line was at the front. So he beat me 20-8, beat me pretty solidly. You actually had a semi-tight game against Warp Coven, it looks like. So you had you against Max and Max's Warp Coven. You only lost by 5. It was a pretty solid loss there. Do you any highlights from that game?
No, that was just a fantastic game. Max let me know they're a fan of the podcast, which was fun because they had just happened to listen to the one where we had Sean on, and they said, "Oh, no wonder your voice sounds familiar," and they really enjoyed the podcast. So Max, if you're listening again, shout out to you. You're great. But yeah, it was a super fun game. Probably one of the better ones of Vet Guard I had, where I was able to get a really good gas bombardment that like pretty much knocked out 2 Zangors and reduced the sorcerer to 2 APL. That if they wanted to make it back up to 3, they were gonna have to move away far out of the distance of the rubrics, so the rubrics would drop down to 2 APL. But just Vet Guard or Vet Guard. So even if I managed to kill a couple of sorcerers and some rubrics, just isn't enough, unfortunately.
I think one thing that they need to fix with Vet Guard, and because I was surprised about this when I played Paige in round 1, was that the gas bombardment hits you. It fucks you up too.
Yeah, like which sure, I
You
guess
got gas mask.
that's exactly what Max said. I would because like in the let me pull up the app because it mentions something about like it releases gas even more powerful than what the gas masks of the Krieg can handle. I'm like, well then what's the fucking point? Just dropping a bomb at that point.
Yeah, no, so Paige dropped in one of the Into Dark rooms in my first game. Paige dropped the gas, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna stay out of there. And then Paige, she was like, yeah, well, this messes me up too. And I was like, that is stupid. Like,
It's dumb. They could easily not have that affect them and still be completely fine and balanced. Here's the tagline for it: gas bombardment. Calling for artillery support, the Death Corps requests a chemical barrage, knowing full well that even enviro-sealed uniforms will not protect them from the poisonous fumes. Which, like, sure, that's pretty badass, but, why don't we change that tagline and make it that, like, is still somewhat effective with their suits, so that way they don't have reduced APL.
I mean, at least, like, change it up so it doesn't affect you guys as much, because what's the point of you drop it on yourself and you just screw yourself. So
well, it was, and at least in my play it worked out great because I was on the point and I dropped in such a way that it covered most of the point and I had initiative, so my single Kriegsman on the point could tap it and then just stay there. That's all he could do. But there wasn't any way for Max to move his Zangors because they were off the point. He could move them onto the point, but they would still be within range of 3 inches of the gas bombardment. So then they can't tap it, even if he moves both of them on it. They just move and that's that because they're only 1 APL at that point. And sure, he can move and tap with the sorcerer, but that's still reducing a sorcerer to 2 APL. And then I can threaten, because I had my comms guy a little bit farther back, like charging with the plasma gun, boosting them to 3 APL. So they move into the range of the thing, drop down to 2, but they still have that second, so they can blast the guy into hell. So it worked out great. It's a really cool tool. It's just kind of weird that it also punishes you because it really makes it difficult to set up.
they should at the very least make it so it's less punishing to you. Like, I can see a little bit of it, but they got to give Vanguard something. Like Deathcore Krieger, they kind of suck right now.
Yeah, they do, unfortunately, because like they're probably one of the most iconic teams of Kill Team. So it's a bummer that they're so bad.
You know what the real big bummer of this is too? I was in before we went down there. Actually, no, it was Monday night. I went down to Board Bard to pick up I pick up the Hell's Last box. It's the one with like Minka-esque and the kind of command squad. And
oh yeah, the new really like cool box, the commemorative one.
And I was looking at all the Krieg, and there's so many cool Krieg now. I was like, this would be super cool to like make a Deathcore Krieg team again, except they're hot garbage, and then they're going to be declassified or whatever the fuck it is. All right, so round 3. I drew Grant, my one actual open Volkos game, my Rekka crew versus Grant's Legionary, and it was super tight. I won by 2 points, and it essentially, as I remember, came down to Grant and his anointed in normal mode, not in demon mode, trying to bolt pistol my knob to death and couldn't kill my knob, which essentially like flipped the scoring by like 2 points. So at that point I'm 2-1. I got a really tight win. Grant was super fun to play against, really good with legionaries, and I just squeaked out the win against them. So, and then you went into Owen, and Owen's amazingly painted Void Dancers.
Yes. First of all, shout out to a good old boy Grant. Grant is a fantastic player. One of the first people I've really played, or I remember like his first game. That was back in second. Grant has probably become at this point the best player in Kitsap like county, which is really cool to see his growth, especially since I pretty much dropped Kill Team off the face of the earth after I was depressed with Hunterclade sucking. But Grant did really, really well, and he's decided on the whim to bring Legios, and he did a great job with him. So shout out to you, Grant. You're a great dude, and I appreciate all you do, especially because you had to drive us there.
Yeah, weren't you going to ride with Zarin?
We did ride with Zarin. We'll get to that story after my game with Owen if we'd like. But yeah, I fought off against Owen, another fantastic dude who I also remember their first game. I know a lot of people in the area. It's pretty cool. But Owen's a great painter. They're a really solid player, but like I'm gonna toot their horn for painting. They're an absolutely fantastic painter. Easily one of the best I know. Like, my God. And they brought their void dancers and they just were incredibly painted. They did the diamond patterns with kind of like almost transgender colors, or not transgender, I guess that'd be the term, like the flag colors, like blue and pink and white on the black capes and everything. And the diamonds with their highlighting on it. Ooh, they were beautiful.
Yeah, that's one thing that I noticed when they had the kind of showcase of models is that Owen, and I even pointed this out to Nick too, is that they shaded the diamonds, which I don't even think about doing that. It would, so rather than just like getting the diamonds just looking good is hard enough, but then to go back and like shade the actual diamonds
Yeah,
was the thing that stood out to me, and
it
they
was
look amazing.
crazy. And I believe they won second place overall, which was really cool. So congrats to them for that. But then also they made a little mini game for their display board. Because the bases, I should ask Owen. We'll have to get a photo of that, of their guard or their clowns, because the bases are like on a checkerboard, and they made a little 6x6 chessboard as their display board that also had a little mini game associated with it. That was super easy to play, and it was a really good time.
Yeah, there's actually some really amazing painted teams. I think it was Scott that won overall best painted.
Yeah, Scott with his crew, no surprise there. They're also incredible. Scott's probably the best painter I know. He goes crazy detail.
I
I mean,
mean,
there's a lot of great painters I know. Don't get me wrong, but like I just love Scott's crew.
Scott's crew were amazing because every little detail was picked out,
Yeah,
and like even the kind of weird spiky things on top of the crew were shaded rather than just like one color. They
yeah, the
transitioned
quills.
from like a gray to a black, even, I think.
Yeah, and he did somewhere like he gave them helmets and everything using the Ash Waste Nomads. Woo, we're finally getting their new stuff. But then he used a couple where like the Kroot Pathfinder helmets, right? Where they have the curve on the back. But then he still managed to somehow get Kroot quills coming out of the back of it. So it really looks like a Kroot wearing the helmet. And it's just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, Scott has an amazing commandos team too that's all painted up.
Yeah.
They're kind of like I think I have some pictures somewhere. They're kind of they're pirate themed commandos, and they were amazing. And Scott's crew are just as amazing. So
Yes.
and then I think Nick took third, I think, in the painting with his Rekkas, his reclaimed Imperial Fist armor Rekkas. So
Yeah, those look fantastic too, Nick. I didn't get to play against them sadly, but they absolutely were gorgeous.
So round four, the final, we played 4 games one day and 3 games the next day. The fourth round, I played against Max Wiggly and their Angels of Death, and Max had Salamander Angels of Death, and with amazing like lava bases, and I we played on Into the Dark again because all I played was Into the Dark basically, and I screwed up right at the start, and there was a long hallway on my left side of the board, and he had his infiltrator on that side with the sniper rifle, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to challenge this guy, and ran my boss in behind a light barricade, forgetting that they had seek light. And then I got some lucky saves, I had a just a scratch, and kind of backed my boss out of there, and he locked down that room with the one infiltrator. I was able to swing to the other side and just kind of destroy the rest of his team. So it ended up being 21-11. And I thought the game was done. I was like, I screwed this up. I'm gonna lose my boss. My boss was able to like cower and run away with 1 wound, and then the rest of my team kind of just, I got some Rekka points and ended up kind of getting that Rekka vibe and steamrolling the rest of the game. So it went pretty quickly, and ended up taking out Max. So who'd you get in round 4, bud? You had Lauren, it looks like Legionaries.
Yes, I had Lauren. It was fantastic to finally get to play against him. He's a really cool dude. I've known him on Discord for a while, up in local to the Bellingham scene. But really nice guy. It was fantastic getting a game in against him. Cool Legionaries too, painted really nice. And I liked it because even though they're playing Legionaries, their like wizard was a proper T-Sun sorcerer, and their butcher was a proper world leader, like with the big eviscerator axe. They had like one of each of the Chaos Legions on their team, which was really fun. Like the Shrive Talon was a Night Lord and everything, and Anointed was a Word Bearer. It was fantastic. But yeah, Lauren kicked the shit out of me, probably with the most effective use of a butcher I've ever seen, because I kind of forgot that butchers could charge if they killed someone and like still do the consolidate type of thing. Forgot about that. And so at the very tail end of turn 2, Lauren pushed a dude up on the left flank through a building I thought I had screened out, had not properly screened it out, and killed my sergeant. I was, no big deal. I'll just blast him with the Melta. And then he consolidated into my Melta. And then he got an Overwatch, or a counteract, which he used to fight and kill my Melta, which then mean he could consolidate into 2 other dudes that were stacked up behind Sid Melta about 2 inches away. So that single butcher, long story short, killed about a third of my team, and technically only 2 activations.
I feel like you play guard like guard get played in the lore. Like they
100%.
are there to just get absolutely dumpstered. They are meat shields to just try and protect something. And I really appreciate your dedication to playing
It's
them the way
because
they're
I've
supposed
read the
to be.
first 20 pages of Siege of Rax, and so I was inspired with the whole charging and die thing. I need to finish that book.
Yeah, I think they win that one, but
They do overall, but it's like a useless victory because everything that they fought for on Vrax like completely gets demolished, and the world just becomes a complete dead world afterwards. So
no, that's
classic Imperium, send like 14 million guys to their death for no tactical gain.
yeah. So that was the end of day 1. At this point, I'm 3-1. Connor's 0-4.
Oh, four
Uh,
baby.
yeah. So Nick and I retired to the hotel that we had, which wasn't a great hotel, but it was also cheap, and they had free
Yeah,
breakfast, so it was clean. That was my thing. That's all I asked for in a hotel. It doesn't have to like be super nice as long as it's clean. So we grabbed some Burger King and retired, and then you grabbed some Taco Bell and went back to the Clash house to end day 1.
yes. Clash House was really fun. We had Brandon, we had both Sean, local and Bellingham Sean. We had Zarin, we had Grant, we had my buddy Matt, who was playing 40k. Fuck you, Matt, even though he hung out with us most of the time in between his games. And never mind, he did 3-3, so well done, Matt. Proud of you, buddy. Who else did we have? We had Naturi and Chad from the Seattle area, and we had oh my gosh, I'm blanking on Bellingham Sean's friend's name. I'm really sorry. I'm blanking on your name right now, and I suck. But yeah, Clash House was super fun. It was a good time. And getting there was an adventure.
So day 2, the final day, we had 3 games that day. I started round 5 on Into the Dark again because it's all in the
Was
dark
it
all the
was
time.
this now the final time you had played on that same map or no?
No, this was I played it twice. Because I played round 1 and round 2 on that map, and then I played round
Ah,
7 on that map. So
gotcha. Okay,
um,
well you returned to where you started. That's kind of like a beautiful story or something, you know?
yeah. So I went against Austin and their football strike team. So I Austin was Austin's going to be absolutely scary when they get more games. Austin's kind of a local up there. I guess they're like 20 minutes south of Mount Vernon. This was their first time playing Kill Team. All they'd done is watched YouTube, and at this point they were 3-1 coming into this, and like this is their first tournament, their first games of because there's nobody in the area, I guess, that actually plays. So um Austin brought Phobos Strike Team. Austin didn't have a great time against my Rekkas, unfortunately, but when Austin gets a few more games in, they're going to absolutely scary because, like I said, to get to 3-1, and I think they ended up either 4-3 or 5-2 overall. It went kind of badly for them. I got Austin charged his Reaver Sergeant into my Demolisher, and I will take that all day long. And my Demolisher blew up and did 13 damage to himself and 16 damage to Austin. And then I caught Austin. I had my Squig. He had 2 Phobos up against the barricade, and my Squig ran up there. And I'm like, what do you want to do? My Squig also lasted through like 4 rounds of bolter fire, like just kept shrugging stuff with between tough gets, so I get an extra reroll and just some good dice roll. And it took forever. The Squig finally died when I blew up another Phobos. Caught Austin in a couple blasts too, but so it would end up being 20-7 me. But I think when Austin gets a few more games under their belt, they're going to be absolutely scary because just getting that far, especially with a team like Phobos, because they're not an easy team to play, I think they're going to be really, really good.
Yeah, well done to Austin. That's super cool that they're able to do that solid without really any experience in kill teams. So, did you tell them to listen to the podcast so then they learn a bunch?
I told him to listen to the podcast. I didn't mention that they would learn anything because I don't think they'll learn anything. There's
They'll learn how to distract Connor easily.
That's true, but anything like jiggle your keys or whatever, and that'll distract Connor. So,
I'm not
um,
that dumb. It's like jingle it with like AdMech mention, and then I'll perk up.
that's fair. So round 5 though was the battle of the Deathcore of Krieg. You versus Paige. Somebody's got to win, or you guys got to tie.
We realized later on in the day we should have somehow tried to figure out a tie.
Well, you lost 15-6, so that would have
Yeah.
been quite a stretch to get the tie. And Paige took the W on that. And I heard Paige had a great play where she jumped like one death core into like 4 of your death core and just tanked everything.
Yeah, pretty much. She was able to get a really good charge into none of my melee specialists with just one of her people, and 2 of my guys were like one of them was a medic, and another one was one that had been rezzed. So they were both at -1 APL, so they couldn't do anything other than pass. But she held up an entire flank doing that, which was really, really critical. And then it was just important. And then she had a really great gas bombardment play on me that like locked down half my team, which was brutal because I was trying to play like get into the center room for attack op, and I just couldn't for that entire turn. So I ended up just bunching up a bunch of dudes, and then she got a nice flamer that killed like 2, and that was kind of that.
So you're one shot at a win and you flipped it. So this is the one win that the Deathcore Krieg had over the entire tournament. 14 games, one win, and I appreciate you taking one for the Deathcore there, at least, buddy.
Well, I did my best. Okay.
Yeah, I know you had fun. That's what matters, right? So
Yeah.
round 6, Chuck 4-1, Connor 0-5, and going into it, and I faced probably the Corsair's master in Chad. Again on Into the Dark, and my rec is against Chad Morris's Corsair voice card, and Chad's really, really fucking good with the Corsairs, and they have so many goddamn elfy tricks, and they're so fucking fast. I couldn't do anything. I lost 17-9. Chad played a great game. Yeah, I mean, just outplayed me. I can't say anything other than that. There was a couple little points where like we had to call a judge over because I could see the end of a gun from the goggles of my orc. So I got a shot off and then flubbed the dice, and so that was great. But yeah, Chad played a great game. At that point, I'm 4-2. Connor, you matched up into Narturi.
Yes. Yeah. Naturi's a fantastic dude. I've said that about everyone, but it's all true. He's a huge dwarf fan, probably rivals Sean in his love of dwarves. He's got a beautiful little Hearthkin salvager team. And we had a really solid game. It was just like a super weirdly defensive one where, dwarves are really slow. So I brought contain, and he couldn't really reach my half without really extending one dude out to the end of the earth. And I was able to kill pretty much half his team doing that because he'd try and get in to plant beacons. So it was kind of a game of tug and war. But unfortunately, they're just too tanky, and even my specialist shots couldn't go through.
So that was a 14-10 loss for you. So at this point, you are 0-6. I'm 4-2 going into the final round of the day. And I actually got matched up. I got paired against Emily. Emily from down here, who Emily and we hadn't played in like 2 years actually, since the tournament that I won down at Shiv Games, and it was my Rekka crew versus Emily's Plague Marines. And so rematch for the ages, because the last time, to give you a little backstory, the last time Emily and I played, I was playing Kasserkin, Emily was playing Legionaries, and I set up horribly, and I left somebody on engage. This was when you could start on engage, thinking I could get a good shot. Emily took advantage of that, and Emily blasted the shit out of my Kasserkin and whiffed everything. And then Emily got a rocket launcher shot on my Kasserkin and whiffed everything.
Did you win
So
it?
I did, actually. The
Nice.
Emperor protects, and I mean, I think at that point, like, I think I just threw Emily off at that point because she was so frustrated that she I mean, she should have killed 6 of my Casterkin on the second activation and just whiffed everything. I had a medic there too, I think, and ended up winning that game. So now we're back, the rematch. Emily's got Plague Marines, I got Rekka Crew, and this time it went the opposite way with the blast, at least, because while the blast failed Emily this time, the blast did not fail me. Uh, I actually there was she had 2 legionaries behind a barricade on an into the dark room. She had another legionary like standing right next to each other, light barricade. She had another legionary just outside a door within like 2 inches. I ran my hammer guy up and smashed the barricade, and the legionaries are just then kind of standing there. My rocketeer or my gunner slid over, blast shot with a 2-inch blast, extended it onto those guys, blasted all 3 of them. She put her lead. She had her leader behind a door and ran another plague marine right up behind them. My leader came around the corner, blasted the 2 of them. I won initiative, killed both of them. It went pretty sideways pretty quick for Emily.
You dick.
So I know. So just, I don't know. It's when Emily and I play, the blast does not favor her. The blast favors me, apparently. So
Blast for the blast god.
right. So I ended up winning that game to finish up 5-2. And Connor, your final game was against Scott and Farstalker.
Yeah, it was. Scott, like we said, fantastic painter, fantastic guy. I always love his shirts because he's always got like good woke shirts, and that was cool the first time I met him to know like, hey, this cool looking dude's woke, even cooler now. But he's got his Farstalkers. It was loot, I think, or secure. It was like one of the 2 basic modes that we still have.
Secure.
Yeah, oh, look at you knowing stuff. He's so smart. But it was a good match. We traded back and forth pretty evenly because it's just I only had 1 waddle on him compared to his 12. I have 13. But crew are just slightly tankier than guardsmen. He never brought the thing where he can retain cover because I have accurate and saturate all the time, which is always fun. But he got a very nice double flamer with like the super AP2 mega death flamer that killed my sergeant and one of my gunners because I positioned very aggressively, thinking, all right, I'll win initiative. And then I did not win initiative. So that was a bummer. And we just pretty much just murdered the hell out of each other because we were both just brain dead and tired. And we're like, fuck the objective. Let's just kill. But overall, he killed better and I scored worse. So he got it. Bring my grand total of games. That's right. To 0-7. Let's go.
Yeah. You had a good time though, right?
I did have a good time. It was really fun. It was just kind of nice to enjoy Kill Team because for a long time there, a lot of the teams where I was playing, I was trying to have fun with them, and they just weren't really doing it for me. But Vedgar, despite being complete dog shit, are just a good time, which is nice.
So Connor ended 0-7. I squeaked out of 5-2. I was pretty happy about that, and it was funny because I kept checking in with people like when I was 4-1. People are like, "Oh, really? Oh, good job!" And like ended up 5-2. They're like, "Wow, really?" It's like, yeah, I am.
Well, you always say you're bad at this game, but you are like a solid player.
I feel like I find my team, I find a groove, and then I do okay and surprise people. So I feel like that's what this tournament was, because I had commando brain going into this tournament because I played a ton of commandos for the tag team, the duels one that we did a couple weeks ago, and had totally forgotten how to play Rekkas. So I had to like I was like, oh, I can't charge on conceal. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. And so had to like reorg my brain in a different orky way. But it worked out okay. I had a really good time. The tournament was great. Good. I did some crumping, yeah. Tournament was great. It was definitely looking forward to next year. I think it was a really good tournament, really well run too. And even though you're 0-7, Connor, you got an award. I did.
Suck it, Chuck. I just continue to get awards while you don't.
Yeah, I ended up in 5th place, and Connor walked away with the sportsmanship award for sticking it out through 7 games of getting his butt kicked. So,
but no, thank you for the award. That was fun. So, you got photos of me. I look like a little goof.
That's just your face. So,
fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great time. And like we said, Zach won the golden ticket with his going 6-1 with his novitiates, and I'm super excited for Zach. I was pulling for Zach going into the tournament, And when Zach lost his game in round 6, I was kind of heartbroken. I know he was too. But like you said, Sean. So essentially how to set it up. So going into round 7, we had multiple players at 6-1, but we had Cyrus who was we had multiple players at 5-1, and then we had Cyrus who was 5-0-1. Cyrus had a tie, so Cyrus had the lead, and all Cyrus had the chance to get the golden ticket. Had to beat Sean Gallagher with the Wrecker Crew, but Sean pulled it out, beat Cyrus. Zach beat Chad against Chad Corsairs, and actually, so depended on Sean to win, and then he had to get his own win. It sucks when you don't have your own, like, your fate in your own hands, but Zach pulled it out. I'm super proud of Zach. I'm excited for them to go to Atlanta later this year and represent the Northwest, and maybe with novitiates, but maybe he's gonna have to find a new team.
Yeah, it's super awesome because Zach's like legitimately one of the best players I know. And he's been pretty much as I've been one trick in Hunter Clade, he's been doing that with novitiates for as long as I know, pretty much. So it's really cool that he was finally able to get it because he's, this is a fantastic dude, really cool guy, like easily one of the most valuable members of the community, just because he always somehow manages to get great photos of our teams.
Yeah, if you've seen a amazing photo of a team from the Northwest, and actually he even did it at LVO too. He brings his camera and sets it up and gets some amazing photos. And yeah, Zach, super proud of you. We'll talk to him. We'll talk to him next week. But Connor, I need to bring something up that may be a little sensitive subject. So
1 second, really quick. Also, shout out to Sean at 2nd place, then Cyrus there in 3rd, and then my boy Christian at number 4. Christian was my sleeper to get golden ticket. He got pretty close, and I think legitimately, if the plan continues to be that we'll have more golden ticket events in the Northwest, I wouldn't be shocked to see Christian walk away with one. So keep your eyes out on him.
What about 5th place?
5th place. Oh, hey, that was you. Well done, Sean.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But back to your award.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on this podcast,
yes,
it's been something of a running joke.
What?
About your lovely mother.
Okay, you don't have to include that like that.
And I didn't. That was making it weird. And we've kind of had a ceasefire on your mom. That sounds weird. We've kind of had a ceasefire on your mom jokes because it got a little sideways in the Discord at one point, and somebody had to be kind of like put back in their place. So I personally have been refraining.
I appreciate it.
Mom jokes. But what was it that you said when you accepted your award?
Brandon said, "Hey, I'll need to get your phone number," and I jokingly said to him because he's met my mother like legitimately. I was like, "You already have my mom's number."
So I feel like this is the shot across the bow that ends the ceasefire.
We don't need to go that far.
I don't know. I feel like it's open season on Connor's mom jokes, at least for a little bit. So I'm not gonna bring it up tonight. I'm not gonna do it.
That.
I'm not gonna. But we're back, baby.
Oh boy.
So let's talk Zaren's car too. So
yes, I've been waiting for this.
When you were headed up the tournament, you and Zaren were going to ride together. You both live in Bremerton, right?
It's like the Silverdale area. Yeah, the plan was there'd be 4 of us in Zaren's nice Jeep. It'd be Zaren. He'd pick up me. Then we go pick up our friend Matt, and then we go over to Grant's house, grab Grant, and head over to the Kingston Edmond ferries to take that to across the Puget Sound and then head north to the tournament.
And what happened?
We did not have that. It went relatively okay for the first half of that. Zaren picked me up, and on the way to Matt's on the highway, we noticed there was like a weird kind of tilt almost to like Zaren's car. It was just kind of a strange thing where he noticed like he was kind of having an issue with the steering wheel. And so we pick up Matt, and it was kind of going in and out, but we were just like, oh, weird. We were trying to figure out what was causing the issue and everything. And we pick up Matt, and it gets a little bit worse on the way to Grant's, but nothing too crazy. And then immediately after we pick Grant up in Paulsbo, it just gets so bad, so randomly out of nowhere. And we pull off into a graveyard because that was the first exit we could see after we left Paulsbo, headed to Kingston, because it's a little bit of a rural drive for like 25 minutes. And we pull off, and instantly as we get out of the car, smell a bunch of rubber and realize that essentially something was wrong with Zaren's brake. It was dragging along his car. We weren't quite sure at the time. I'm not a car guy, so I was fucking useless. I was just like, tell me what to do to help because I know nothing. I'm like Jon Snow. But we just quickly realized we're not going to be able to take Zaren's car up to Mount Vernon. It'd be too dangerous. If we break down on the Puget Sounds or like the eastern side of the Puget Sound, we're really fucked because like, we're not close to anyone. So thankfully, Grant, the absolute hero that he is, volunteered his car / it was the only car we really had available at that point to be the driver. And so we go there, we repack, we end up throwing everything in Zaren's car, and we take that up. And thankfully, no more issues after that. But then after we get back home at the later of the week, Zaren lets us know that he picked up his car, and the issue was the left rotor had really bad warping / heat spots due to heat from the stuck brake. So it was getting applied inconsistently over the rotation of the rotor, and using the brakes more would have made that effect worse. So that explains why the issue was intermittent, but seemingly got worse as we drove on.
So now this is
Yep.
two tournaments in the last what are we
half year,
6 months where you have gotten a ride from someone.
Yeah.
And they've had car failures. Nick had to replace the transmission, I think.
No, it was an electrical issue with Nick's. It was like his computer inside the car died, from what I was told by Zaren.
So when you were hitching a ride back with Nick from Killscream 3, excuse me, you had to. Nick's car died on the way back. Mm-hmm. Well, Nick's car, like every engine warning light came on, and now you ride with Zaren, and Zaren's car has a huge brake warping issue. Connor, why does the Omnissiah hate you?
Because I'm not a tech priest. All right, I've never claimed to be a tech priest, and so I don't know the proper rites and rituals.
You should get on that, because at this point, like, you were never riding in my car.
Oh, yeah, very fair. That's understandable.
Yeah, so please stop breaking people's cars.
I'll do my best. I felt terrible, and Zaren felt even worse because he was like blaming himself. We're like, Zaren, it's not your fault. And it's just Connor. I'm legitimately convinced I'm like slightly cursed to never be able to get anywhere in a timely manner. Like I'll always be at least 5-10 minutes late, even if I leave like a half hour early.
You showed up to when you were in Golden Ticket Convention. Excuse me, Golden Ticket my mouth. When you were in Golden Ticket Contention at Tacoma, you showed up to the 7th round late to play Joshua Quick Ellie.
Thankfully, Joshua was completely understanding, and that was just us. Thankfully, for once, I left on time. Unfortunately, none of us that I was carpooling with realized, like there was like 3 or 4 of us, that the event started 30 minutes earlier on Sunday. So, thankfully, we got there with early. If it started at 9:30. Unfortunately, started at 9, so I got there like 5 minutes late. But thankfully, the game with Joshua went just fine. He kicked my ass, and it had nothing to do with the time limit, and he was completely understanding of my mistake.
Yeah, you're the traditionally like chronically late guy.
Yeah, 100%. I can't even deny that. A bunch of my friends have a joke called the Connor dimension, where I'll say I'll be on in like 15 minutes, and then something happens where I'll get sucked into like the warp, essentially, for what should be a 15-minute thing becomes like 25 or 35 minutes.
Yeah, Connor just is. You're the guy in everybody's friend group. Every friend group has that guy that's always late, and that's you.
100%, which is why if someone says, hey, we're meet up at 10:30, I just try and be there at 10:15 no matter what, and then I still will show up at like 10:33 no matter what I do. It's honestly annoying.
Yeah. I need to remember that, and I'm just going to tell you if I'm ever planning anything. We're going to Adepticon in a couple weeks, and I'm just going to have to like I'm gonna have to be the dad the entire time and make sure you're on time. I had to like twist your arm to make it your plane tickets, and
you don't have to twist my arm to get my plane tickets.
I bugged you for like 3 straight weeks,
and I told you after week like 2 that I got them, and then you kept asking, and I was like, "Yep, still have them."
At least 3 weeks.
Whatever.
What are you bringing to? Are you gonna? You asked me about my.
Oh
my blooded.
Can I use your blooded?
Yeah, you can use my blooded.
Sweet.
So I should have the full roster for you. Are you gonna get some reps in at least before then?
My friend Matt that we came up with, he's got blooded, so I'm gonna use those, and I'm gonna ask Brandon, be like, Papa, how do I play blooded? Papa.
Yeah, Brandon, can you put this kid through a boot camp? Because if he goes 0-7, I'm not
gonna go 0-7. Bright side, they have so many melee guys that at least my Rust Stalker aspect of my brain of like charge forward and stab people to death will still be able to do that.
Yeah, well, you better not go 0-7 again. And actually, speaking of 0-7 and doing really bad at tournaments. Greg Patreon had a great idea, which I think we won't do it this tournament. And Greg's idea basically was punishment when we play tournaments together, punishment for whoever does the worst in the tournament. So whether it's you and me and Tyler, all three of us, whoever plays in that tournament, whoever does the worst in the tournament gets a Patreon decided punishment. So I think we put that in effect for Adepticon. So thank you, Patreons. Jenna, Cody, Sam, Sean, Nick, Holly, Zarin, Connor's free, Greg, Rob, Zach,
I'm not
Scott,
paying you money.
Keaton. Thank you so much. And actually, a couple things. We're going to start a channel probably in the Discord for Patreons. And
where you can
also
bug us directly, even though we're not on the Discord.
Yeah. But then also I think we need to throw in a punishment for whoever does the worst in the grand tournament for the golden ticket at Adepticon. So Connor, do you have any ideas what the punishment should be?
Well, I liked Sam's idea the other day of like things we should punish ourselves with.
That was just like a general, like, because you're a Patreon punishment.
I mean, fair, but we could use that for now because I don't have anything else.
We could use that. Patrons, if you have ideas for what the punishment should be. Now, Connor, I'm agreeing to these terms, and we don't even know what the punishment is yet. Do you agree to these terms?
As long as the terms are reasonable and not going to be like assassinate the president, then yeah, sure. Even though that,
why not?
Sierra, I'm not killing the president. I'm not confessing to that on our podcast.
I don't need to be visited by the FBI. Let's not put that out there.
Right. Stop it.
All right. Yeah, they're in Bremerton, Washington.
Yeah, we still aren't there, but
close enough. So, but yeah, we will. We'll throw it out to the Patreons, and we'll get a couple ideas, and then we'll let the Patreons vote on what the punishment will be for whoever does the worst at Adepticon. And then I think we do this just going forward. Anytime
just between the two of us, or is Nick involved in this because he's like the fourth unofficial member at this point?
It's just between the two of us because Nick.
You're bringing a team. You know what? Do I get like a handicap of bringing a team I've never played?
No. And you have played Blooded. You played my Blooded already. That's fine. You hadn't played Vetguard in this edition. Look how that went.
That's not true. I played them a little bit before this tournament.
Don't just say you hadn't. Just go with you hadn't. So Patreons, again, thank you so much for your support. We'll take a poll. We'll get a couple ideas. We'll let y'all vote on it. And then whoever, and we're not going to go by record because if they do pods, we're not going to, do we want to go by placing or do we want to go by record?
Do we know if they're doing placements or pods or whatever?
I mean, this one's run by Games Workshop again. So I think they will probably do a cut like they did at Tacoma. So I think that's something we need to decide too. Is if we go overall record,
do the decision there.
Maybe we'll have to decide if we go record or if we go placement. Because in Tacoma, I had a better record than you, but you placed higher than me.
100%, because I'm the better player. Totally.
But I had a better record.
Yeah, well, I was higher on the leaderboard, so
I played all my games.
No, count me there.
Okay. So we'll have to figure out that. But yeah, also we announced this last weekend, we have a new tournament coming up in April. So the Rum Runners Rumble, it's going to be in Sandy, Oregon, about 20 minutes outside of Portland. So not too far. And it's going to be less of a sweaty competitive tournament and more of like a social event. So we're running this at Just Rum Distillery, which is a rum distillery in Sandy, Oregon, run by a couple people out there. And we met Robert, who actually did Pathfinder at CritCon. We went out there, we checked it out. Tyler and I talked about it previously, but we're actually going to be doing a 3-round tournament. It's going to be $55, and with your ticket, actually, you get 2 alcoholic beverages as well as meal. So it's going to be kind of less sweaty, more social. So there's still tickets available. We've sold almost half already though, and it's only been launched. Yeah, it's only been launched like 3 days ago, and we're almost half sold out. We're not going to be going for a golden ticket, but it's just going to be more fun for people. So feel free to bring a weird team, bring a team that you want to try out for the day. And we'll be doing 1 round. We'll be doing lunch. We'll be doing 2 more rounds. And then It's just going to be kind of a casual event with a little more chill vibe than the kind of some of the sweatier tournaments that we play in a lot. So, Connor, you gonna try and make it down for that? I know two alcoholic drinks would just put you on your ass.
Yeah,
So
that'd be dangerous for me. I'd be gone. I'd instantly become an alcoholic. I don't know. Maybe I can't like confirm at this point. It does seem like a really cool idea, but I just don't know if I can make it for that one.
yeah, it'll be if you can, it'd be great. I think Tyler and I are just going to be running this one rather than actually playing in it, but it should be a super fun event. And like I said, your $55 ticket gets you lunch and two very delicious rum drinks. We went out there a couple weeks ago, and I didn't realize what you could do with rum. Like I think I said, Captain Morgan's and Malibu are what I thought of when I think of rum, and these were very nice, high quality rum. So we'll have a link in the description for that, and that's coming up in little month and a half. So, but yeah,
Rum's a good time.
So, but yeah, well, Connor, thanks for joining. Miss you, buddy. Tyler,
Miss you,
hope you're
Tyler.
feeling better. Tyler had a migraine tonight, so and having a migraine and having to listen to Connor and me, just,
100%. That's miserable.
Yeah, so take the night off, buddy. Okay, so don't unalive yourself.
Don't do that. That'd be bad.
But yeah, I can't imagine spending an hour listening to the two of us drone on about stuff with a migraine. I can barely do it half drunk.
Wow.
But
Chuck, have I ever shared you my singular rum story?
You have not, buddy.
It's a little not safe for work. It's not. All right.
You've been swearing the entire time on the podcast. I mean, do we need to put a disclaimer an hour and 2 minutes
story
into this?
Is got a tinge of sexualness to it, but mostly Connor being stupid, which isn't.
That's how most sexual Connor stories go.
Exactly. I'm sure you'll love this one. I may have told it to you, but I got to share this and with the group going up, and they thought it was hilarious. So I figured, why not just let everyone hear about this? So, college age Connor, 18 years old, freshman, going to Montana State University. It's Halloween night, and we're having rum, like, totally of legal age. I wasn't 18. I was 21. But we made little rum root beer floats. They weren't great, but root beer floats were pretty good, and we could barely taste the rum because it was bad rum, because it was what we could afford for rum when you're a broke 21-year-old. And there's this girl there who I was kind of hitting it off with. And she, at the time, I don't know, I don't really know what happened to her, but she was studying to be a nurse at this point. Hopefully she's out there helping solve COVID or cancer or something. But we got on the topic, this was a collective group, because we're at like someone's dorm, like 2 or 3 dorms in the hallway, all partying together, of the scariest things. And people were, like, oh, zombies, axe murderers, vampires. And me being the classic comedian I am, I was like, nah, guys, you're all wrong. Cancer. That shit's terrifying. You never know when it's going to hit you. It just sneaks up and grabs you. And that got us onto the topic of prostate cancer. And this girl and me had kind of been hitting it off, like sharing jokes, kind of talking to each other throughout the night. And she was like, prostate cancer is scary. But do you know the way to check? Like you got to grab your balls. I was like, yeah. And she's like, I can show you if you want me to. And I was like, oh, no, I already know how, but I appreciate the offer. Thanks, though. And then it wasn't until April what I realized she was implying there. And it hit
Connor.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of thoughts. So I know Sierra's just sitting right there. And
She's actually not in the room at this point, but she has heard the story.
I'm sure she has, but I can only imagine like being your partner and hearing you just strike out over and over and over again.
She was very direct when she wanted to get with me. She was like, I'm into you, and I think you're into me. And I'm like, I am. She's like, we should date then. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Because thank God she was that direct. Otherwise, I'd probably be single.
Yeah, because apparently other people have been very direct with you, and you have not gotten the hint.
No, I have not.
Yes, like you're like, I think you struck gold with this one. Who she just realizes how, like, no offense, how like
dumb I am.
Dumb you are when chicks. I mean, most guys are dumb when chicks are putting out
the
vibe, but you are like
a whole new level,
like next level.
The worst part is I could tell like about a minute later I had said something wrong because she wasn't really laughing at my jokes as hard. But I was like, weird, I don't know. And then like, we talked throughout the rest of the night, and then it's like, I don't remember, like, we went our separate ways. And then literal months later, I'm just like, sitting there playing games with my friends, and it hit me like a goddamn 18-wheeler. And I was like, oh God. Damn it.
Oh, Connor. Sweet, sweet little baby Connor.
I bring
Wow.
such joy to your life, though, don't I?
Yeah, I'm just want to smash my head against the coffee table here in front of me.
Yeah.
But I wish we need to do video for this just so people could see my face when you tell these stories and like the cringe looks that go across my face when I'm just like, this girl's like, hey, can I fondle your balls? And you're like, no, I'm good, I got it.
It's like, I already know how to fondle my balls. I appreciate the offer, though. Yeah, I'm dumb.
Yeah. So, and with that, thanks for joining, buddy.
Yeah, glad to be
Where you
here.
at?
You can follow me at Spanaway on pretty much everything. We've got some Patreon posts coming. I'll continue my Connor's journey for Adepticon. I've got 2 ideas that of fun videos we'll release on Patreon first, and then eventually YouTube probably. Once we're done with Adepticon and my prep week of hell is over. But you can follow Tyler at Lowbrow Minis. He's got some shirts on the way. I think either his newest run of the Kill Team shirts, they're all printed out and everything, so they're probably in the mail to you at this point.
We're at Vox Cascadia on Instagram. Tyler's shirts are dicehorror.bigcartel.com. We are on patreon.com/Vox Cascadia podcast if you want to be able to vote on our punishments that we're going to do.
Yeah, nothing too bad though. And also, thank you to everyone on Spotify. We just hit 5,000 listeners today. So, hey, really good thing it kind of got delayed today because we were able to talk about one thing on the balance data slate and then that.
Oh, yeah, we never even brought up that there was an update.
Yeah, vindication for me and Jeremy that the whole like guilt reveals itself thing it cancels out super conceal. It's 4 inches because that's how it always should have been. And even a bunch of people agreed, but we just needed direction from GW. So thanks GW. And I think probably most surprising of all, but makes sense, I guess, is medics can no longer use their medic ability in blast.
Yeah, I think that's good. It was always such a pain in the ass when you blast a target and then you blast the medic and then the medic just reses, even though like it's getting hit by shrapnel and still
Yeah.
just like reses
But like
someone.
if the medic like see I always did it was like if the medic didn't die, then they could still res someone. It doesn't make sense thematically, sure. It's definitely a weird one, but it was nice. But now, yeah, it's gonna be a pain. You're gonna have to really watch your spacing between like your medic and your melta gunner or something.
I wonder if medics are going to be less taken now because they don't have that brokenness.
Yeah.
Castrican medic can still heal for 0 though. Looks like that's great. That's the only good thing
Wait,
Castrican
what?
have going. Castrican has a. If you look up Castrican, their medic heal is a 0 AP.
Oh, I thought you meant heal for like 0 health. I'm like, why? That's terrible.
No, Castrican medic can heal is the only medic in the game that doesn't cost an AP to actually heal.
That's actually pretty neat.
Yeah, it's the only thing they got going for them. So,
hey, they got the best
boys.
Vox operator in the game.
They have that too, so they can give out orders, they can heal, and then the orders they give out are the melt is dead, the plasma's dead.
Oh, maybe I should bring your Casterkin instead. I can just jump from one bad team to a slightly less bad team.
I think you'd do better with Casterkin than you would with the Death Core.
Probably.
But I take the blooded. I think you'll although here's the thing, you could take Casterkin and you could disappoint me, or you can take blooded and disappoint your dad.
I'd rather disappoint my dad. I already did that with my real dad.
That's fair. Well, thanks for joining, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm at Painting Cave Minis on Instagram. Oh, by the way, I primed not primed. I airbrushed the base coats on my Angels of Death Terminator. Ooh. That I used the shoulder pad that you gave me.
Yay! I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So, I'll see if I can get you pictures. You can post that up on Instagram. I did my Reaver Sergeant too, which is my Reaver Lieutenant from Leviathan that I actually put on like a 32 millimeter base. So.
Oh, also really quick before we go, you're doing Tacoma Open doubles with Nick, right?
Yes, I am.
Damn it, I was going to see what I could do to convince you to do Heresy with me.
Is it the same day?
It is the same day, unfortunately.
I also don't have the time or the will to put together a Heresy army in 4 months.
That's, it'd be nice to know, Chuck, what the hell the events are going to look like, but they haven't given us any information yet, so I couldn't even tell you, oh, it's only 1,000 points. That's only like 3 kits.
Yeah, actually, I do have a... Let's see, I have the Age of Darkness box, except one mini, because I gave it to Nick and he was going to paint it and hasn't painted it yet. I don't think he's put it together. I do have 2 of the, what's the dreadnoughts that they had, the Space Marine dreadnoughts?
Like the Contemptor ones? Because there's like 3. There's the Contemptor ones, which are like the kind of cone shaped. There's the really big ones that are like literal giant boxes called Leviathans. And there's the one with the giant ridiculous gun arms called.
I think I have two of the Leviathans actually because I bought them and was going to use them because you could use them in 40k at the time,
Yeah.
and I've got one of those primed up and
Is
kind
it
of
like
bloody
is
with
it
stuff.
rectangular or conal?
It's neither. I have a Contemptor that Nick painted.
Okay,
up for
so you
me.
know what a Contemptor looks like then.
Yes,
Okay,
it's a
it's a Leviathan
then.
then probably because
Yeah,
the Derrideros or something, however you say it, it's like think.
yeah, it's not the Daredevil.
Yeah, that's the weird like arrow one with like giant fuck off plasma guns on the side.
Yeah, it's a Leviathan.
Okay.
I've actually it's the shooty one too. I actually have the melee one as well because I spend too much
And
on
hey,
plastic.
there's a bunch of cool Blood Angel stuff in Heresy. This is all just my ploy to get more people in the Heresy, so then I have more people to fight with my Necromancer robots.
Yeah, I've like I said, I've got the Age of Darkness box, and I've got 3 dreadnoughts outside of that too. So
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We love you all. Definitely in that parasocial way for me. I don't know about Chuck. But thanks for 5,000 listeners, guys. That's seriously sick as hell, and we appreciate each and every one of you. So thanks.
I hate to correct you there, buddy. It's 5,000 listens.
Oh, whatever. Listeners, listens. I just don't remember.
If
Still,
it was
5,000 listens is really, really cool, and we appreciate
that's really
you.
cool. Yes, thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. And Connor, say hi to your mom.
You liar.